Welcome back. I am so excited and so thankful to have you back. So I was wondering, or sitting here just kind of thinking to myself, how can I help you better? Help you better understand, help you learn better, help you make better choices when it comes down to the positions that you decide to take when in the market. So I did a little bit of studying myself this morning, and I studied how I study. And with that, and how I mean, or what I mean by that, is I found a video or a couple of videos, and I watched them myself, and I figured out how I can get better assistance from those videos. So I want to incorporate that into this video. So in this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to start drawing up a few levels and going through the understanding of those levels while we do the weekly forecast. So I think that this is going to be extremely helpful because it was for me. So in an effort to kind of compound my focus for the week, I have decided to only focus on the 4. And you can tell by my watch list, I've gotten rid of all the ones that I had on here previously. And another thing to take note of that I've changed, there's a couple things. So part of the reason why I named this channel Trade in Black was because, a few reasons. However, one of the main reasons is the psychology on your mind when you go to trade or you put your candles in black rather than having them in red and blue. It's a different kind of trigger. There really isn't much of a trigger when it's in black. So when it's in black, you can really just focus solely on the price action rather than if the candle is blue or red, because sometimes that can trip us out. It's a lot easier if you just trade in black. Once you get to a place where you're a little more comfortable with the market, I've been trading for 2 years and 2 months, I think now. So once you get to a place where you're a little more comfortable, it's easier to trade in the black. And then you'll notice like a huge difference, especially when you start to get the understanding of market action, price action. Another thing that you'll notice is instead of having one EMA, I have 2 now. So they're both 200. And then they're still both EMA. The SMA is still at 5. But one is high and one is low. So this is going to help me or what it has created in the channel. So that will play into confluence and letting me know what I need to be doing next in order to either A, get in, get out, or vice versa, or take profit, stuff like that. So this channel right here is going to help me. We're going to use this confluence in conjunction with the levels. One other thing that I wanted to touch base on is that I think I talked a little bit about it on the last video for Thursday, and just kind of going over things to remember, tips for traders, for beginning traders, in switching up your technique or your strategy often. I was doing a strategy prior to this, but I have decided to switch it back to what I was doing previously because I feel like that was serving me a little bit better. And then in the future, if I decide to keep moving forward with that, I will. But I feel like we need to just switch it and stay stuck to the previous strategy that I was using for so long before I tried to switch it to this newer one. So with that, let's just move forward. Okay, so starting with AUD on a daily time frame, let's just address the quick news for this week. We're actually in a pretty decent space for news this week. Shouldn't be too crazy. Of course, there are going to be some crazy ups and downs, or some momentum, so expect that. But it looks like Monday is GBP and CAD. They have some pretty heavy news coming in, with some red folders on forexfactory.com, and I can insert that as I have in the past. I'll insert that down below so that that's somewhere you can go to check for the folders. If the folders are red, that means that that's high impact news. If they're yellow or orange, not as much to worry about. So like I said, Monday we're looking at GBP has news, as well as CAD. Looks like Tuesday, same thing, GBP has some pretty heavy news, and then it looks like we do have a little bit of news there as well. AUD is going to also be on Tuesday. Wednesday looks like it's GBP and us again with the US, and AUD as well. Thursday is looking pretty heavy. Swiss franc has some news, GBP, Euro has news, we have news, and that's on Thursday. And then Friday, probably a slower or softer day for some that don't trade on Fridays or Mondays. But we are going to have some news from Euro is on there, GBP is on there, and we are also on there as well. So we're just going to jump in real quick, or not real quick, but it's going to be a little bit of a longer video. I just want to go into detail, and I'm going to use this video for not only the weekly forecast, but I'm going to be showing you the levels that I'm going to be using for this week in order to make the best decision on some trades here. So immediately with me looking at this, I'm going to show you why this EMA, the low and the high EMA on 200 is super powerful. Now, of course, the week will let us know exactly what it is, but I can already see right now, it's easy if you count down, use it in sections of 3, right? You're looking for 3 touches. Let me grab the right tool, right? And actually, I could probably really just use a circle to kind of help. This is what I see for 1 touch. The next touch that you're looking for is just a straight through, which is going to be this touch. They usually line up. Oh, shoot. So let's cap that. And then let's get over here a bit. And this is actually technically our 3rd touch. They usually line up just kind of how they are. So that's something that you're looking for when you're getting ready to get in a position. I'm really only going to work off of the daily and the 1 hour and the 4 hour. And I may even start to go to a lower time frame to do my actual entry, like a 15-minute, because what I'm trying to accomplish, or my next goal for 2023, is to be able to get my profit fairly quick and get out. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be working on. But needless to say, you're looking for your 3. So your 1, your 2, and your 3. You don't necessarily have to go back as far, and I think that was one of my bigger issues, was going back a little bit further maybe than I needed to in order to kind of get some of this confluence. So I'm using these touches as kind of one of my confluence, where price has been at, where price has touched at, where price, whether it was coming down or coming up. I'm looking at this 1, 2, 3 method of setup. Also, along with that is another confluence. You can see this EMA on the low and high about to try and create a channel here. When it gets to a place where it's getting ready to try and create a channel, and it's in the same place as this 1, 2, and 3 setup, that's actually looking to be a pretty good area. So from there, let's go ahead and start to make our levels so we can keep an eye on where price is at. Okay, so that's going to be my first level right there. We're going to use that level because it is right there, and looks like it's fighting to the upside. This is all kind of setting up for a really good space for it to go down into a bearish direction. Of course, I could be wrong. It's probably probability game, so that's something that you want to keep in mind as well. However, for me, I'm looking at this as let's use the Fibonacci retracement. Actually, you know what? Let's see. We can use the Fib too, but let's actually, because I feel like I see the setup to be something, along these lines, and look a little something like this. So I'm gonna set it probably just above. I'm gonna try to set it, because it's the way that it's setting up this time around, and I am seeing lower highs and lower lows here. I'm gonna set it just above here, maybe a little bit more room, just so that you have some room to move. And then my take profit, I'm gonna place it down to about here. And then, so once price starts to play out, and we can talk a little bit more about this in another video, but once you see price start to do its thing, let me grab a brush tool real quick. Once you see price start to kind of come down and to do its thing, and it gets past here, past this level, let me grab another thing for you. So once you see, and let me go back further because you're not going to be able to see that. Alrighty. Once you see price get past a lower or respected area, what you want to do once you're in the, let's say you're in the trade, what you want to do, once you see it gets past this point, which is where price was previously at, it's respecting that area as resistance, you're going to move yourself into break even. That way, you're not losing any of your profit. So now then we just watch the trade play out until it's complete, right? So what I am seeing for AUD is that we could still be headed in a bearish direction for this week. Of course, we'll have to just wait and see what happens, but based on the confluence that I have set up here, I believe to see that it's going to head in a bearish direction. Of course, always do your own research, see exactly what makes sense for you. If it doesn't make sense for you, then don't take the trade. But I'm looking at AUD, and I'm seeing what looks like or could possibly be a bearish direction. So let's head over to EU. Let me grab my rectangles here and let's see what we got going on. I don't see anything just yet. I think the next level, or the level that I can kind of see, would be in like this area for right now. We're still waiting on that third though. So like, okay, you see we kind of got our 1, we got our 2, I'm looking for a third. So what I'm wanting to see now that price is kind of where it's at right now is if it's going to come back and retest, and then we're going to be heading back up in a long position. Because it broke here, price has respected this area and it's broke at this area, we could even go as far as to move this a little bit further over just so that it's a little more clear on where price is at. So you got your, let me pull this back up. I just want to make it extremely clear and easy to understand as possible for you. There's your 1, there's your 2. So like what I'm looking for is what it could possibly happen. Price doesn't always retrace. It doesn't always make it back to that area. So what we could just see is it's straight going up and using, our EMAs, our lows and highs EMA for resistance, and or support. It'll just use that as support. So what I'm looking for price to do essentially. I gotta get better with this. I promise I will. All right, what I'm feeling like is getting ready to happen is something to this effect. We probably won't see, or we may not see it get all the way back to this area. So then we'll see price, and then once price gets up here, then we can start to look at this being an area, and then you would want to do something along these lines here. This would be your next space. You would then grab you can use fibs too, and we can definitely, maybe I should do a separate video so that we can understand. I can help you guys understand. It would probably be best to use, it would probably be best to keep it under or as close to this channel, and then next take profit. I would actually put it to probably about right here where price was previously kind of getting caught up at. So then you'd see again, let me grab my brush. You see price kind of doing its thing. Once it gets to breaking past another lower high, that's when you would put yourself in a space to be broken even. And then you just wait as price kind of does its thing and eventually, breaks out. Okay, so that is, let me see, sorry. Just trying to move that over so you can kind of get a clear understanding. Of course, I don't know if this is what price is going to do. Again, it's always a probability game, but this is what I feel like could possibly be the situation for the week. Now, if it's not right, again, we're just managing our risk so that in case this is wrong, we have gone in the wrong direction, then we'll just be looking at a small loss because we managed our risk. Not a big deal. So moving on to UJ. UJ is actually looking like it's in a good place to potentially be going down too. However, let me get my box tool here. So right here, I'm kind of seeing a section, a level. as to kind of where it's at. I think, let's see. Oh, shoot. Price would have to hold. And it seems like it kind of is. We'll just have to see exactly what's going to happen this next week. Because this could potentially, if it comes up here and we hit here again, this looks like head and shoulders. With this being the first shoulder, this being the head, and then the second shoulder will be made here. So we'll see what happens this week. In this one, I'm not 100% sure exactly what needs to happen or where we're going to go from here. As of right now, both of our EMAs on the low and the high are underneath. So we'll just have to see what we can do, because we're trying to see is if price is going to hold. I really need to like change like the sensitivity on the mouse because this is crazy. It's getting weird. Okay, so what I would kind of see, and I don't know if you could exactly, there we go. So now what we're looking at, or what we can see, is that break. So we're using a trend line to see that somewhat of that break in between. And honestly, with having that break up there, seeing where price is at, meeting it in a space where we're getting ready to head to the downside, possibly, I could kind of see this going in a bearish direction. And that's because of this break here that was broke through, and now it is holding or using this area right here. I'm going to make a small box just so that it's very visible for you to see. And technically I could use this as my 1, 2, 3. Let's see. So like 1, 2, where's the breakthrough? So you're looking for a touch, a breakthrough, and a touch, which is exactly what we got right here. I could potentially see price using this as resistance and then continuing down. So we'll use I gotta get better with knowing where this stuff is at so that it's not so all over the place. Anyway, okay, so what we do is something similar to this, just above that level. Wow, also above that space of that channel. So I'd probably set my this a little bit tight, but essentially this is where I would put it. So then we would want to, let me scoot this guy over, and then I would set price to be taken there. Let me scoot this guy over. Perfect. Okay, so for me, I would then be looking for price to break through this level. I hope this is super helpful. Feels like I'm dropping some gems. I hope this is super level. I'm waiting for price to get here, so then we would wait for essentially something like this, and then coming down here. And then once we start getting down here into these levels and it's broken past this level right here, I'm gonna be, wow, let me pull my shit together. I'm gonna be moving my stuff into into break even. So then it's a risk-free trade. And I would even go as far as to say, now I haven't seen this and I can double check on it to see if it works, but I would even say that once price breaks past this second level, or if it gives you an opportunity to break past this second level, so you had that first level of where we took ourselves into broke even, you could even possibly, and like I said, I'll double check to make sure that this holds true, wait for price to hit this area, which is this second break of space where it's broke past. Right here, you're looking for right up in here, and it matches right up here. I would even then move my break even so that you can at least walk away with a bit of profit. And I don't know why this is not working, but what you would even essentially want to do is, I'm not going to do it because it's going to look freaking nuts. So you would even take price down from here and then take it to here. So if in case price does do its thing and doesn't hit all the way down to here, it would maybe hit you here again before it goes back up, and then you would still get at least half of that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so before I make this video extremely too long and then it's looking crazy, let's just move on real quick to GBP. So for GBP, I'm kind of looking and I can already see my 3 points of contact with price. 1, woo, 2, already 3. So right there lets me know that's my level. I'm gonna run my level right here. Now, I'm still waiting on a confluence of my EMA. EMA technically needs to be up underneath price to be going in an upward direction. Can you use another confluence? Of course you can. You don't have to use the EMA, the 2 EMAs, the trend itself, and then the zones. You can definitely use whatever confluences work best for you, but I'm going to be trying to stick my best for the next week or so in seeing how this works, or the next month or so and seeing how this works. So essentially, you got your 3 touches, you now have your level. Price is sitting here. Now, this is a really funky area. I'm trying to see, I probably won't be making any positions or opening any positions on GU until I can see what price is going to do once it gets to this area, past this area. So once we get into this next week, and then I can see or get a better idea as to what's going to happen, because as you can see, price is holding as resistance right here. Now I would need to see a change or a confirmation that price is going to continue to keep heading in the downward direction, because essentially what we could see is price come down, hit this, and then we could see it break through, then which that would turn into our 3. So then we would get rid of our 3 that we have here, and we would, our 3 would technically, oops, our 3 would technically turn into like a something like this, 2, and then a 3, something to that effect. And then we'd be looking for a retest to this area. Wow. A retest to this area, and then we'd be going back up, because essentially we're waiting for the EMA to do something similar to that. So that is what I have for you today. I hope that this was helpful. Like, I hope that the showing you of the levels and the countdown to the 1, 2, 3 or the 3, 2, 1, so that will help you see where price is going to be heading in which direction next, depending upon, of course, market structure and the news. So hopefully this was helpful. I hope you guys have an amazing trading week. I am super excited about all of this, and yeah, let's get after it.